Hey guys, this is William, and today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite books of all time, Travels with Charlie in Search of America. Now, I just don't like this book because it has Charlie in the title, and that reminds me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. No. I like this book for many reasons. And I could keep saying many for the duration of this video, but instead I'm just going to tell you why I like the book. So first off, I did not have to read this book for school. I read this for fun. And I actually haven't heard anyone having to read this book for school, but if you have any interaction with Steinbeck in general, you're probably reading something of his for school, like of Mice and Men, or just hearing recommendations like East of Eden, or anything like that. That is why you're getting into Steinbeck, or why you hate Steinbeck at this point in your life. Hopefully that this book can change your mind. Now, I've always liked Steinbeck. He's a great author, and he has this way of capturing a human soul. Like, he can describe anybody. He just met somebody, he can describe them in a way that feels genuine and real. He knows how to describe the American. Like, and yes, that sounds pretentious, like America and all that stuff, but no, he just knows how to describe the everyman, the person you see walking down the street, in a way that captures him, that makes it seem so real, as if you're actually in the mind of that person. It's incredible, and I just love the way he writes like that. Read any of his books, and you will be able to see what I'm talking about, and be able to read that beautiful and contextual knowledge that he provides based on that human being he's interacting with, or the characters are interacting with. That's why I love Travels with Charlie, because there's something about this book. First off, the premise is that Steinbeck decides that he's old enough and waited his whole life to travel across America, or just travel in general, and he wants to do that. The real story behind this book is that he realized he had cancer and wanted to do something huge. He wanted to travel. So that's what he did. He wrote this book. It's kind of like an autobiographical diary or journal of his trip, but written in a way as if it's more of a book. But this book is incredible. It catalogs his journey throughout America, the various places he visits. Some you may think, oh, automatically, this is not that interesting of a place. But the way Steinbeck describes it makes it so interesting and just so enjoyable that there are things that stick with you. Some of them may be humorous. For example, something that I haven't read the book in years. But my favorite thing that stuck with me in it was his dog Charlie, which is a French poodle, I believe, blue fur. See, I haven't read it, and I know all that stuff. But he was walking through the redwood forests of California, I believe, and the dog is ready to use the restroom. And so John Steinbeck describes his dog as using the restroom by saluting the trees. That is how Steinbeck described it. And when I read it again, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm like, there, I remember that. It's like an old friend. I remember the way he describes things. But it's so magical and so captivating that he can describe everyday instances in ways that you never would have imagined them before. It's just incredible. That is one of the many reasons I love Steinbeck, and even more so why I love this book, because this book is him taking what he does best, in my opinion, and that's describing people. But he does it where, instead of falling in love with a character across the entire book, or other various characters, this is just pretty much every person he runs into while going across America, whether that's every chapter a new person, or several people, or anything. This is him cataloging the existence of America, if you will. And I just thoroughly enjoyed this book. Hopefully I'm not overselling it to you guys. I highly recommend that everybody read this. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, John Steinbeck novels. I have yet to read East of Eden and The Grapes of Wrath, two of which I have heard are very well written as well, and I need to read those, especially since I consider myself a Steinbeck fan. But definitely, Travels with Charlie should be on your list of necessary reading. Whether you're on vacation and just want to read something, or you yourself are traveling across America, this book is incredible. Speaking of which, I would like to read you the first few sentences in the book that pretty much just capture why I love Steinbeck. So let me just pan around nonchalantly, pull off my Steinbeck copy, the Steinbeck Centennial Edition. I recommend getting this one. It's really well made. It's got a great cover. It's got a little dog Charlie right there. Travels with Charlie. All right, let's get to the first page. If I can do that. When I was very young, and the urge to be someplace else was on me, I was assured by mature people that maturity would cure this itch. When years described me as mature, the remedy prescribed was middle age. In middle age, I was assured that greater age would calm my fever, and now that I am 58, perhaps senility will finally do the job. Nothing has worked. Four hoarse blasts of ship's whistle still raise the hair on my neck and set my feet to tapping. The sound of a jet, an engine warming up, even the clopping of shod hooves on pavement brings on the ancient shudder, the dry mouth and vacant eyes, the hot palms, and the churn of stomach high up under the ribcage. In other words, I don't improve. In further words, once a bum, always a bum. I fear the disease is incurable. I set this matter down not to instruct others, but to inform myself. So in the first paragraph, which I read more than I was intending to, you can hear Steinbeck saying, listen, this is why I'm writing this book. For my whole life, I've been told that, hey, buddy, don't worry. When you're older, you won't want to travel. You won't want to go on adventures. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. He gets older. He's like, hey, I'm still want to do this stuff. They're like, don't worry. You'll get even older. You'll forget about it. That's the answer. And finally, he's like, you know what? You're all a bunch of idiots. I'm going to do what I've been wanting to do. I think the funny part about that is Steinbeck has done many adventurous things in his life. He's written them down, not this book alone, but various other adventures. He fought in World War II, I believe, and he did lots of writing while he was there. And in another book, he traveled around the coast of Mexico to journal and document different things of finding different species of animals. So there are lots of things he's done that involve curing that itch he has. And I think it's interesting how he's like, hey, I've done crazy stuff. I've written it all down, but I haven't just traveled. I haven't just gone somewhere without a purpose. And I think that's the part where he says, once a bum, always a bum. Steinbeck was never a bum. But what he's saying is like, once a person who just travels, because if you know anything about bums or the definition of that, if you ever watch old 50s and 40s and 30s movies, all those old movies, the bum is pretty much the guy on the train just traveling. And it's not that they're doing that out of, they're doing it out of necessity, really. It's because they're homeless, and so they're just going from place to place. Steinbeck's saying that's him. He just wants to go from place to place, existing in that place at that time. And this is John Steinbeck's answer. This is what he does in Travels with Charlie. He becomes a bum and travels across America. But at this point in his life, Steinbeck has a good amount of money and decides to do it a little more classy. And the truck you cannot see, but he gets a really nice truck, like puts bunch of food and all this stuff in the back of it. So he's not really a bum in that sense. But the whole thesis of this stands. It's him curing his itch of traveling across America, discovering things that he has never discovered before, and being able to write them down in ways that will just pull at your heart. Maybe not because like, oh, that's so beautiful, that's so sad, because it'll pull it being like, that's me. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to see America. Some people, that is the world. And I want to see that. Steinbeck does something so incredible with this book, and he cures his itch. By the end of it, maybe it'll cure yours or give you one that you didn't know existed and will make you want to travel as well. All in all, I give this an easy 10 out of 10 on my book rating scale. It is extremely well written. I enjoyed reading it from beginning to end, and no matter what, you will come away with a sense of just, wow, this guy can write. And if this is your first book of Steinbeck's that you're going to be reading, prepare for an adventure, because every single book of his is as well written as this, and I enjoy all of them. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Hopefully I didn't ramble too on about how much I like it. If you couldn't tell, I really liked it, and I recommend it to everybody. If you can't buy this version, there are 50 million versions out there. Go to Barnes & Noble, go to your local bookstore, go to Amazon.com, buy it. It's pretty good, well priced, but of course you can't put a price on an adventure. So buy this book, read it. If you've already read it and liked it, tell me what you think of it in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next book review. Subscribe so you can get notified instantly when that happens. Like this video if you agree with my opinion. Like it if you hate me. Like it for anything, because I love likes, and dislikes are really depressing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day and adventure.